All right, so today I want to talk about something that you've probably thought about or you may not have, but it's very important. I happen to be a sufferer of severe tinnitus, which is a ringing in my ears. And as I got older and my hearing degraded, it got to the point where I was really struggling to hear people's voices. So not too long ago, I went ahead and looked into hearing aids. And I went to an audiologist, and they tried to fit me with the right prescription and all that, and they did do a good job, but the process was really painful. So what I ended up doing, because this had drug out for about 6 weeks, is I went online and I went to a company called Jabra. And Jabra, this is not paid by any means, because I have had some problems with these hearing aids, but they're very comfortable and they're about half the price of anything else you're going to find on the market, on the open market. Now, your insurance may cover them, and that would be, really good, but I had to pay for mine out of pocket. And that can be very expensive. These hearing aids were about $2,000, and I got them because I wanted them to Bluetooth to my phone so I could listen to videos and things like that. But what you're going to find, at least with these, is they're not AirPods, guys. So, you're not going to get that true, clear, really loud, like for music and things like that. They don't work that way. They are somewhat, if you're in a quiet environment, like a doctor's office waiting, you can listen to videos and music and things like that without disturbing other people. And that's kind of nice, I'm not going to lie. But do I really need that feature? No, not necessarily. I could have saved a few $100s. Anyway, this is not a commercial for Jabra. What this is talking about your hearing health. And I'm going to tell you, relationships, because when you retire, you're going to need to continually build on those relationships. Your spouse or your significant other, they may not be used to having you around all the time. And you're going to spend a lot of time with other people. And sometimes that's going to be traveling. And you know how noisy cars can be. Cars can be horrible when you can't hear somebody, when you're always having to turn and say, what? I had gotten to the point, I didn't really realize it, but I had gotten to the point where I was reading lips. And if my wife turned away from me and said something, I could not understand what she said. And it caused some conflicts from time to time because I got to the point where if I didn't understand what she was saying, I would nod and say yes, or ask her to repeat it. So the quality of your life and your hearing is important. We tend to focus on what we put in our bodies, our nutrition, our joint health at this age is huge, our cardiovascular. And being retired gives you time to go ahead and work on those things, get a more healthy lifestyle. But what you may overlook is your hearing. And I would suggest you go to an audiologist, get an exam, or go online to a reputable company. And some of them, like Jabra, you can do an online evaluation. That online evaluation, you got to be in a pretty quiet place and you got to have a decent set of headphones. But it is an option for you if you don't want to go to an audiologist. You can always go to an audiologist, pay the fee, get your report, and send it in to Jabra or somebody else if that's what you want to do. Now, let me go ahead and expand on what I said earlier, that I have had some problems with these. So what happened with the first 2 pairs that I had was, I don't know if I have wet ears or what the problem may be, but I actually ended up within about, 2-3 months of the first 2 pairs, I had to turn them back in. Now they, virtually no questions asked, just sent me another pair. And I tried them again, and finally the first time they said something about getting, this little dehydrator, which I'll call the dehydrator, but basically all it is it's going to dry out your hearing aids. And it's made especially for hearing aids, It takes about 40 minutes a day, and you don't have to do it daily. They recommend once a week. I do it a couple times a week, but this pair since then has given me no troubles whatsoever. And I'm going to tell you, hearing aids are a game changer. I remember when I first put them in, not only being able to hear conversations, I walked outdoors and I startled myself. I hadn't heard birds chirping in years. And just the birds in the yard, it was amazing to hear those sounds again. You know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I really love these hearing aids. So my wife was suffering from some hearing loss as well. We went to the audiologist together. So she went down and she got a pair from our local Walmart, because you can get them over the counter now. But they're not programmable, and they're just basically going to amplify all the sounds. And she put them in, and you know, she wore them for a few hours, and she said, I don't like this. And I said, well, here, let me try them. And I took mine out and put hers in. And it is different when you're amplifying all sounds versus amplifying the sounds that you need. You know, like me, my hearing up to my higher frequencies was pretty good, and then it dropped right off a cliff. So I can't speak for all, but if you are a tinnitus sufferer, if you have that ringing in your ears, I would suggest getting some hearing aids, because there is a bonus to that as well. It will cut down on, well, I shouldn't say it will. For me, it cut down quite a bit on that continuous ringing that I would get, even sometimes at night when I would lay down. Now, I still get it depending on what's going on, depending on, I don't know if it's my blood pressure, my stress level, you know, my sinuses, but sometimes when I lay down, I will still get that loud ringing. But there are other times, like when I'm watching TV, that I don't even notice it. Or if I'm having a conversation, if there's other noises now, I don't notice it nearly as much as what I used to. It used to be very dominant. So that is something to also think about. And it's not a cure for tinnitus, but in my particular case, it did help some. So please, don't ignore your hearing. Don't ignore your eyesight, because they are game changers. Good pair of glasses, you know, get a good set of glasses once a year if your insurance allows that, and definitely look into the hearing. It could be expensive, but I'm going to tell you, it is a game changer, and I think you'll really enjoy it if you're suffering significant hearing loss. So you know what? I hope this video's helped you, and until next time, take care and watch this video next.